Under this cover is our freshly refreshed 1.8 turbo engine block. In the last episode, we sent this guy out to the sandblaster, got it sandblasted, prepped, and painted. But I haven't quite revealed the color that we painted it just yet. Well, that time is now. I present to you, once again, the ultimate Euro engine. As you can see, this block turned out perfect. I'm so stoked on how well this thing came out, from the actual finish itself compared to the rusty crusty that it used to be, to the perfect amount of gloss in this paint. And yes, I know I went with the boring color of black, but this is the color that these things came from factory, so I decided to stick that way to try to make it look as factory as I possibly could. There are obviously a few areas that we have to machine to a machined finish. We got to run a thread chaser through all of the threaded holes in the block as well. But until this thing is ready for assembly, it's going to stay exactly how it sits right now to prevent it from rusting at all. And now that the block is 100% complete and painted, we can move back to doing some finishing on the aluminum stuff. Hey you, yeah you, come back to me. I know we've gone almost 5 videos without you seeing any aftermarket parts or performance upgrades. And I can see that you're getting bored. Just when you thought you were gonna have to watch me spend way too much of my time sandblasting this oily oil pan. For those of you that don't know about the Mark IV platform, even if you lower your car 1 inch from factory ride height, the low-hanging all-aluminum oil pan is at risk of damage. And we all know what happens when you get a big hole in your oil pan.
Oh my God!
I've literally seen tow truck booms damage these oil pans on factory ride height cars because they hang so low in the vehicle. And that's where this comes in. This is a hybrid oil pan. And it's actually a factory option on some of these cars. Some would even call it OEM Plus. As you can see, instead of having the weak aluminum bottom, this one has a 2-part design with a steel bottom that's much more resilient to dents and dings and road debris. Especially with you lowered hot boys driving around scraping on things like leaves. As you can see, this one also has the cutout for the turbo return line. So combined with some of the other products that I'll reveal in the future, this is the ultimate upgrade if you plan on lowering any of the Mark IV transverse 1.8 turbo engines. Thank you for coming to my Thai Talk.
So then, let's get to work. As I mentioned before, the glass on our sandblasting cabinet might as well just be drywall. It's that beat up. First order of business, obviously, is to pull the hood off and get rid of that old, crusty plexi that is literally in 2 pieces, which I didn't really discover until I pulled the frame off of this thing, but that's okay because we're throwing it in the garbage anyways. However, before we toss it, we need to use it as a template for our new plexiglass that we picked up here. Plexiglass sizing is kind of weird. I basically just went for the best bang for the buck because none of the sizing was going to be anywhere near what we needed here. After tracing out our template onto the new plexi, we can then go ahead and cut out the piece that we need. I meant to bring my wood saw from home, as it probably would have made a much cleaner and faster cut through this, but my grinder ended up actually doing a pretty decent job, better than I was expecting anyways. Luckily these cuts don't have to be perfect as they're going to be covered up by this frame anyways. After the piece is cut out, we just went ahead and took a whizzy wheel and cleaned up the edges, and then it's on to reassembly. Luckily, the plexi I picked up has protective plastic on both sides of it, which really helped considering everything in and around this piece is dirty and covered in sandblasting abrasive material. So the protective plastic definitely helped us preserve this finish before we get it on the cabinet. And 1 million screws later, we can blast this off with some compressed air, and it's time to move back over to the cabinet. Remount the hinges, open her up, and get that satisfying removal of the plastic protective layer. And we're all done.
Look at how much better that is. Take it all in, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the cleanest and scratch-free this is ever gonna be. Side quest complete. As you guys can see, we still have quite a bit of work to do on some of this miscellaneous aluminum. I want to go through and clean up all of these pieces again to get them ready for their final paint job. And that's the finish that we're going to end up going with. Not to mention, we also have to prep and blast this crusty head. But I think we're going to save that guy till last until we perfect our sandblasting on this aluminum, especially the gross pitted aluminum, as you can see here. So this is the piece that I just went over once again, and although very pitted, as you can see, at least now that I can see, we managed to get full coverage on this baby. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make you guys sit through the sandblasting process on all of this and the head as well. I might try and bang out as much of this aluminum stuff as I can in my spare time this week. But either way, I'm pretty stoked that we refreshed that sandblasting cabinet.
I didn't quite get nearly as much as I wanted to get done this week done. And that's just due to the fact that outside of this whole YouTube thing, which I do on the side, I do have a business to run, and we were super busy this week. So I'm trying to get you guys a video every week, and that's hard coming into busy season. But I'm a very strong believer in consistency being key in this game. So I apologize if some of these weekly videos that are going to be coming up are a little shorter than normal. I hope you guys still enjoyed today's video and at least learned a thing from it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and leave me some feedback down in the comments with what you want to see on this motor in the future. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!